Like the new Ferrari? Just kidding, it's not mine. But here in Winter Park, you see like this stuff all the time. Today's video, we're going over the top 7 suburbs in Orlando, according to niche.com. Now, many of you ask me, what's the good safe areas, good areas with good schools, plus good real estate? And legally, I'm not allowed to answer those questions, but a bunch of users actually dropped their favorite places to live based on a lot of this criteria that I'm gonna share with you today. So stay tuned for the top 7 best suburbs in Orlando. The number one question that potential clients ask me, or in the comment section here, is what areas are safe and what schools are good? And why can't you, as a real estate agent, answer that question? Well, back in the 60s and 70s, there were some maybe unethical real estate agents that would have certain people live in certain areas and others allowed to live in others. And so they came up with laws, with these housing laws, that basically prevent me from letting you know what areas are safe or what areas might have certain ethnicities over others. And so that's typically why we don't talk about those two things. Now in today's video, I'm gonna be able to use the list that was user-driven data from niche.com and add a little bit of color based on my own experience to hopefully give you a good place to live. Starting off at number 7 and working our way backwards is Winter Springs. Now this is northeast Orlando and located in Seminole County. The city's slogan is the natural choice because there's so much nature in Seminole County. Now looking at the rankings, the user rankings, there was 201 people that ranked Winter Springs number 7 based on schools, which was ranked an A, housing, which is ranked a B, good for families, they ranked an A, and safety, they ranked a B-. And so let me know down below if you're from the Winter Springs area, does this match up with what you're thinking? The prices of Winter Springs are roughly $350,000 to $400,000 as an average, which is also an affordable price point for many people relocating to the Central Florida area. Number 6 on the list is Maitland, Florida, which is actually just north of us here in Winter Park. So if you want to be close to all the shopping and you want the kind of high-end real estate, but maybe you're priced out, Maitland is a fantastic area. I've talked about in past videos that I love Maitland because of the older trees, the older houses, and there's plenty of them that are either been torn down or remodeled. So Maitland to me is this perfect little pocket neighborhood just north of Winter Park. But let's get into the niche rankings. According to 65 reviewers on Niche, Maitland, Florida had an A- for public schools, B- for housing, really it's probably because of pricing, A for good for families, C+ for crime and safety, and A for nightlife. Now, I don't know that I've spent any much time in Maitland for nightlife, so let me know down in the comments below, what do you think of these rankings if you're from the area? Another comment we get in our videos all the time, and before we get into the top 5 list here of areas in Orlando, many people say, well, those areas aren't actually Orlando. So for the Orlando purists out there that are like, oh, you can only talk about Orlando, I'm thinking about people that want to relocate here for work or people that want to buy a second home, and that's really the 5-county area that surrounds Orlando, from Lake Mary to Davenport, from Claremont to Christmas. Number 5 on the list is near and dear to my heart because we actually live there. It's Horizon West. So this is the section of Winter Garden that's actually the southmost area, closest to Disney, and really over by the 429. It's one of the fastest growing communities in the entire country. But let's see what Niche had to say. There were 20 people that reviewed the Horizon West area, and here's what they said. Number 1 was public schools. They rated an A-. Housing was a B+, and again, I think it was a B because of the pricing is a bit higher than average in the area. Right now, it's settling right around $600,000 for the Horizon West area. Good for families, they ranked it an A+. Crime and safety wasn't measured, and they had a B+ for nightlife. And again, very similar to Maitland. I don't know that I've hung out in Horizon West at night. There's really not a ton to do, but if you want fireworks from the Walt Disney area, that might be your spot. The interesting thing about these lists that people create is this one was actually user generated. So it's people that live there, send their kids to the schools, and some of it might be more about feelings than actual facts. And so that's something to pay attention to when we're running down this list. But everybody's situation is unique, depending on what the best areas are for you. So if you're looking for an older house or a newer house, you want to be close to the theme parks or far away from the theme parks. If you want a downtown area that you can eat anywhere, or depending on your budget, all of these things will become a little bit more clear to you as you work with us to help you kind of narrow down your area on what's best for you and your family. The most reviewed area in all of the niche for suburbs of Orlando was Oviedo, Florida. There were 315 people that really had a lot to say about Oviedo. I love it because the location on East Orlando is fantastic. It's also up by UCF, so you have kind of all the proximity of going to the games up there. A lot of great real estate options, whether you're looking for that planned community or that downtown area. I love Oviedo for a lot of different reasons, but let's see what the users had to say over on Niche. The number one reason why a lot of people love Oviedo is the public schools, and it was ranked an A on the Niche list. Oviedo schools actually rank number 11 out of the entire state of Florida, so this actually makes a lot of sense. B+ for housing, A if it's good for families, B- on crime and safety, and B+ for nightlife. When I think of Oviedo, I do think about nightlife having a lot of options over there, from the games to like the college town vibes to everything else going on in the area. I love Oviedo at number 4. The last 3 on the list make a lot of sense to me, but I think you're going to be surprised by number 1, so make sure you stay tuned. Number 3 on the list is Dr. Phillips. This place is located close to everything. You've got Universal and Disney really close, but you've got Restaurant Row, you've got great amenities like Bay Hill, and beautiful neighborhoods, both new and old. There's a reason why Dr. Phillips is so popular. You're gonna put that in the video. I know you are. But based on the reviews on Niche, here's what they said about the area. Number 1, public schools was an A-. Housing was a B-. Again, I think more so for pricing than anything. When you think about families, they ranked it an A. Crime and safety wasn't measured here, but nightlife was an A+. And I have to believe that absolutely, because everything right around Dr. Phillips, there's plenty to do. There's the London House. There's everything over on I-Drive close by. There's plenty to do if you're looking for nightlife or family in Dr. Phillips. Literally 100 places to eat on any given night. Number 2 on the list is Winter Park, Florida, right where we're here today. And this is an easy one to rank so high on the list. Really because the real estate to me is some of the most beautiful in Central Florida. It's also the most expensive, which is why it was ranked a C on the Niche list. But let's figure out what users said about Winter Park. For public schools, they ranked an A. For housing, it was a C+. And again, I think it's because of the overall pricing of Winter Park. The average sales price here is pushing over $1 million. Good for families, they ranked it an A. Crime and safety is a C+, which is kind of an interesting one for me. Nightlife, they also ranked it an A+. Now, I think very similarly like Dr. Phillips, you have a lot to do in Winter Park. Everything from different restaurants and just local events always going on, whether it's nightlife or the weekend life. They got farmers markets and art fairs, and just always something to do in Winter Park. Number 2 on the list. Number 1 on the list that we haven't talked about before is Heathrow, and it does make a lot of sense. It's in Seminole County and really ranked for A's on everything on their list other than housing, because there is some expensive houses over in Heathrow. And so if you're looking for gated, or you're looking for a larger estate on some land that's tucked away from everything in Orlando, because it is really far up the I-4 area, Heathrow might be for you. All right, so that's the top 7 suburbs in Orlando based on user-generated info over on Niche. Now, they actually rank the top 40 cities, so if you want to go check out the rest of the report, I'll link that down below. And if you're looking to buy or sell a house anywhere in Central Florida, my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. Email me at info@positgroup.com or call the number in the description. We'll see you guys on the next video.